Hello, it's AP from the Dope Fiends comics and Legend of the Adorbs amigurumi and puppetry studio, here with a new video on how to make this set of mechanized puppet eyeballs for your high-density foam hand and rod puppet. I wanted to create a system of eye mechanization that would allow the puppeteer to move the puppet's eyes from left to right using an up and down motion that better suited the mouth movements inside of a hand and rod puppet. All of the other video tutorials on making mechanized eyes for your puppet were rather vague and only semi-instructive. I hope that this video will help online puppet makers develop a style of mechanization that brings more life into the creatures you create at the same time that it makes it easier for your hand. To make this eye mechanism, I used 2 1.5-inch round wooden balls, 1 3/16-inch wooden dowel, 1 1/2-inch by 3/8-inch square wooden molding strip, 1 popsicle stick, 1 airplane hinge available at your local hobby store, 1 1/8-inch sheet of shower board or similar substance cut to the size of your puppet's head. The tools you'll need include a bandsaw or scroll saw, a miter saw, a drill press, a Dremel with cutting wheel, a box cutter, a 1 5/8-inch Forstner bit, a 3/16-inch drill bit, and some super glue. I'm going to quickly show you how to prepare the materials for assembly into your eye mechanism. First, we'll start by using a bandsaw or scroll saw to cut out a suitable piece of plywood shower board to use as the eyeball mounting plate flush to the inside of your puppet's face. Don't make this too big, but do be sure that you have enough room between the eyes for the airplane hinge and around the eyes to be able to mount them inside of your puppet's head. Then, use the 1 5/8-inch Forstner bit to drill the eye sockets along the center line. Now, make a small incision using the box cutter that is equidistant between the eyes and is small enough to keep a tight hole when you slide the airplane hinge through. Next, using a jig setup, drill holes through the center of your wooden balls using the drill press. There are plenty of quality YouTube videos available on how to make this sort of jig and drill the hole in the exact center. You need to make sure that the eyes will be drilled in the exact center because locking in the axis of rotation is really important in the side-to-side motion. Now, take the balls and slice a channel into them about 1/4 inch deep along a 45-degree angle to the hole you drilled. This is what's going to translate the up and down motion of your finger to the side-to-side motion of the eyeballs. There is a possibility that the channel will be at a bit of a slant, so to be sure that the movement of both eyes is the same, mark the top of each eyeball before the cut. This is also a good time to paint your eyeballs white before you add the pupils later. Now, cut 2 5/8-inch segments of wooden dowel and 1 1/2-inch segment of wooden molding. Make a small slot in the molding cube using the cutting wheel of your Dremel that fits the protruding edge of the airplane hinge extended through the eyeball mounting plate. You can trim the hinge if needed. Use the box cutter to slice off a perpendicular half section about 3/8 inch into one end of each of the dowel segments. Then, use the box cutter to split the popsicle stick into quarters, first longwise, then across the short axis. You'll only need 2 of these 4 quarters for the shaft around which your eyeball will rotate. The last step of preparation is to cut yourself a paddle to move the eyes with. The easiest way to do this is to trace the shape of your eyeball mounting plate onto a separate piece of shower board and cut it out using a bandsaw or scroll saw. Now, we're ready for assembly. Making sure that both eyeballs are facing up, slide the popsicle sticks through the hole on each eyeball and glue them into place. Now, glue the paddle onto the airplane hinge, being careful not to get any glue into the hinge pin itself. Mark the position where the dowel will extend from each edge of the paddle into the 45-degree channel in the back of the eye. Remove the hinge and glue the dowels into place. When the glue is dry, reinsert the paddle hinge into the eyeball mounting plate with the dowels extending into the eyeball channels. Your eyeball mechanism should now function smoothly. If you need to correct any areas of drag, disassemble the mechanism and sand down the rough areas. Once everything is moving smoothly, insert the protruding edge of the paddle hinge into the cube molding and glue into place. You now have a fully functional eye mechanism and should be able to center the pupils where appropriate to have them looking in each direction as you move the paddle. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more music, puppetry, and tutorials from the Fiends comics and Legend of the Adorbs amigurumi and puppetry studio.